What's up, WWE Champions Universe? This is Lee from Champions Chat, and here is another installment of the Should You Take Blank 6-Star Gold series. I'm getting warmed back up after some weeks away with some things happening, and wanted to go to another one that has been not only requested a lot, but also is one of my go-tos. So Fatu was the Black Friday character, Black Fatu Day of 2023, and for the second year in a row, I lucked into. I that because the last 2 years on Black Friday and stuff, I did like one mega pull, and maybe I think I did two last year. But either way, that was like a big spend at the time for me. I wasn't doing pulls near as regularly. And the way it worked out, I got him. I got Johnny Knoxville the year before. I got him. The difference between Johnny Knoxville and him, though, is Johnny Knoxville has only ever shown up in like one other loot, whereas Fatu is actually a bit more common. So one of the reasons I'm not making like a Should You Take Johnny Knoxville 6-Star Gold video is because it'd be for me and like 10 other people, right? But a decent number of people in the community that follows us do have Fatu, and if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you do as well. Also, if you followed my video series before we were official content creators, I made a 3-minute moveset video for Fatu, triple red, and just wasn't near as impressed as I should be, and then had to make a redaction video to say, actually, I should have run him triple green. And so this is the way I usually run him. Yes, you could run the running hip attack that makes 25 random gems into blast and steals multi-gems. But really, that's the only thing that does, and there's not really any buffs to the blast gems other than the Titan plate itself, which is huge, don't get me wrong, but in today's meta, if you don't have something else going on, it just doesn't hit quite as hard. Look at my video with Sika I just made. 17 million turn 1 is nothing to sneeze at, except for in the 6 gold meta, it literally feels to your opponent like you sneezed on them. That's about all it does, right? So the bear hug is where we're going to start. 7 MP green move. Submission deals damage and generates 42 random sub-gems that turn into botch. Diving leg drop, deal a bit more damage and make 35 botch gems into green, so that constantly refills itself. Great for certain boss battles. And then the headbutt, deal more and more damage and choose 6 gems to make yellow. Now, I don't actually use this move aside from for the move damage, and as we've talked about, move damage takes a big hit when you come into the 6-star gold meta. So at 6 silver, Fatu was putting guys down easy with his move damage. In order for him to be on that level again, we would need to see in that 30 million-ish range of damage, as best as possible from the moves. The one saving grace is he does have the bear hug, so of course you can sub them down, or you could run the Juggernaut build and the Eyes of Judgment or whichever. Oh no, it's one of the Ghostbuster plates. Never mind, those don't exist. That drop things down. Just never you mind that. But he does do gem damage and move damage. The reason I'm not saying, hey, let's test him out with a bunch of gem damage is, again, there's nothing that really buffs the gems, and while the sub is pretty consistently leaving a good stretch of them on the board, you're not even blowing up the whole board once with green, which isn't his primary color anyway, and in the 6 gold meta, blowing up the board once without buffs just isn't going to be enough. So, all that said, there's a number of different entourage you could run with him. I would run, you're going to have George the Animal, because otherwise you're not going to even get close to started with turn 1. And then Bailey, because green moves deal 100% more damage, and green moves start with 2 more. If you're on a special where you've got some hot bonus on him, or if it's a boss battle or whatever, you could run, instead of her, the non-mutant version of Doink, the common Doink, the tech one, who would actually buff up your finishing maneuver quite a lot more, and then all your others. But you need that green MP to get as close to start as possible. And quite honestly, at 7 MP, that's going to go off turn 1 because you've got, 4 and 2 is 6 plus your 1 bonus. But if you wanted to like be ready, you might need some other things, like Santa Hogan. But this will get you started turn 1 in most modes as long as there's not a debuff. Then we've got R-Truth for green moves deal 40% more damage, and the Gooker for 40% additional damage on top of that. And I'm realizing I don't have that up above here. Again, I'm getting back into it. It's been a hard couple of weeks. So on the strap, I am using a 50% move damage strap, double takedown 2s, plus a 200% green move damage. Again, you're going to need all this in the 6-star gold meta, and the biggest trick for him is going to be the Scimitars of the Sheik. Whenever you activate a green move, increase your green move damage by 100% for 2 total turns, which is important because you've run your sub, which eats one of the turns. On the other stuff here, I mean, you could do the Kevin Owens show, but he doesn't really need black gems. There's not really anything that buffs up botch. I mean, the Jade Plate's super rare. It'd be cool if it worked, because then you get your green gem damage. Doesn't really make reds with this move set, so there's not really anything that I would say, oh, you absolutely need to throw down that ultimate plate. So I'll just leave it blank. And let us see. Oh, yes, the other thing. This is a showdown moment. Does not going to do anything. We're on the road, so it'll be fine. And he doesn't have any gears, so nothing offsetting or throwing us off in terms of that. Against Zombie Zammy for our regular comparison, and plus he does have a sub, but he doesn't start loaded with it turn 1, unlike Big Papa Pump on the road here, so that gives us a nice little bonus. All 3 moves aren't loaded, but that's okay, because this one's loaded next turn, and this one goes off turn 1, so you're really not, I mean, it is a pretty decent sub, it's 945, but again, that's 3 million for 3 turns. You're not going to want to buff that, because even if you did 100%, 150%, you're talking 610 million, and again, that's just not going to cut it nowadays. So in terms of looking at what's on the board here, you can see you've got a number of botch gems that would turn green. You could recycle for a turn and kind of go from that, but you've basically eaten one of your turns already. So if you do that, that would, yes, buff the plate again, because you're doing 11 million damage here and 16 million damage there. So once you hit this one, it is going to bump this one up a little bit again. So 27 million damage is not bad at all. If you do this, you can reload everything and kind of get it going a little bit farther. Plus, he's taken one big hit with one big sub, so there we go. Now he's loaded, but he wasn't. So you just don't want to do this one, but now you're at 13 and 19. So you can now do this one again because it's not going to matter. You're not going to mess up any additional botch gems. They're already green. So that was a hit for 13 million, which makes this one 21 million. And you can see I'm fighting a 6-star gold. This is going to put him down. I mean, he's almost completely out of health. So 21 million plus your 14 million that you hit right there. Actually, it was 13 because it buffed itself, but can't be executed. So, and then you just create yellow gems just because they don't actually do you any good. You could use them to do a 5-match and blah, 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 but then you'd need a break yellow, get whatever plate. The only reason we did that is, boom, look at that. Now we got our sub loaded back. Hooray. But anyway, you're putting down a 40, 50 million turn cycle 1. Let's call cycle 1, 50 million. So yeah, Fatu is very much still in the conversation, even with a move damage build. If you were to have a 100% move damage strap, which is a little more rare, of course, that would add to the carnage right there. He's got a sub. He constantly refreshes it. So Fatu is a good way to go. And the other thing, if you just watch the Sika video that came out, you'll notice he's not an aggressive powerhouse. He's focused, which is a very big deal because your aggressive powerhouses are stacked versus your focused powerhouses. He's probably clearly one of the best in that category. But all that said, you really need the Sheik plate to make this sing. Without that, I probably wouldn't suggest him. And if you're me, I've got Hall of Fame Anvil, which I took the Sheik plate off of Fatu and have never given it back to him since I got Hall of Fame Anvil. You do need one gear with Hall of Fame Anvil, but one gear Hall of Fame Anvil hits harder and is, for me, a more fun play style. If you have Nation of Domination Rock, that Sheik plate works really well on NOD Rock. He's more sub-based. That's going a little bit, obviously going to take a big hit in 6-star gold, but still worth considering. I might say Fatu over Nation of Domination Rock, but I mean, both are going to be very, very spicy. Just lost a little bit of spice going into 6 gold. And then you've got other choices out there, right? Like Zombie Sammy himself has a 6-star build with triple green, and the Sheik plate really helps that. You're probably going to run the Pyro build if you're going to do that, though, and so he's probably not a factor. So all that said and done, I would say he's still in the top 3 or 4 choices to be putting a Sheik plate on. If you got one Sheik plate and you've got Fatu, the really only questions you have for yourself then is, do I have Hall of Fame Neidhart? Do I have Nation of Domination Rock? And is there somebody new that, since we've made this video, that has come out that maybe is a green move damage guy that is 6-star gold meta relevant? If those factors all line up, Fatu is a great choice to take 6-star gold, and I'm going to at some point because I really like him. He's one of my big hits that I've ever had on here. So that's my answer. I say conditionally, but very lightly conditionally, yes, absolutely, it's worth taking Fatu to 6-star gold. He's great. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to Champions Chat, and then send this to your friend or faction mate who's going, hey, I got Fatu. Should I take him up to 6-star gold? Send him this video, encourage him to watch the whole thing. It's like 12.5 minutes long. Do that for us because we try to be helpful to the community, and that's what helps us. Well, other than that, see you on the next one, and bye.